And we're back after a brief break. You were hearing about the Lion of the Democratic Party, Joseph Ramirez, and our good friend, Commissioner Joey Gonzalez, your commissioner 24/7. And you can reach him at 960-6312 and also get his Facebook newsletter. And also visit Joseph at the Nueces County Democrats on Facebook. I've got a very important topic, and the last one, but certainly not least, is men's rights when it comes to the court system, and focusing in on family law, divorce, and child custody. And who better than bringing on a very experienced lawyer, great friend of mine, Alex Hernandez. Hi, how are you, Alex? Thank you for joining us.
Joe. Thank you for having me.
Well, we've been trying to plan this for about a year,
That's right.
and I'm honored to have you on.
It's an honor to be here.
Let's start out with, it's a topic that very few men really realize their advocacy. There's that perception that, well, they're going to take half of what I own, and I'm going to have very, very limited rights with my child. Is that perception reality here in Texas?
Yes.
And how is it a reality?
There are stereotypes with fathers in the family courts. And basically you go in there and you get, I don't want to say railroaded, but you as a father, as a man, go into family court and you're already stepping in at a disadvantage. We as men and as fathers, we want our equal rights, and that's the way the court system should be. We talk about civil rights, and we talk about equal rights. We talk about equal justice for all. I think that's your slogan, is equal justice for all.
We certainly try.
We try, and we try as fathers to do the best that we can. But we're in a system, at least here in Texas, where the father gets he gets in there, and he's not on the same scale. He's not on the same level as the mother who goes into court. And that's what I try to advocate is just equal rights. I'm not trying to say that the mom shouldn't have as much right. I'm just saying that fathers should have as the same rights as the mother going into the court system, and just have a fair playing ground, a fair say in what he can do, and just try to accomplish his rights to visitation, custody, access, and possession, and have the judges understand that when a father goes into court, the father wants to have his say so in court and not to be looked down upon. We have an attorney general system that just brings in the men into the court system, and each one is really at a disadvantage just as soon as they walk into that court.
Well, and not to take anything away from women, we've seen deadbeat parents on both sides.
That's correct.
And also seen, we've got a great court system here in Nueces County where you have a judge or judges that will equally tell people if a woman's paying child support, you need to pay child support. So we're not, but it is true, the point that you're well taken, that women are often perceived as the better parent. And also in divorces, it can get pretty crazy. I was talking to a female attorney, Deanne Torres, that we both know. Mm-hmm. She said it's ridiculous. Sometimes the abuse of the restraining order, mm-hmm. the abuse of, just saying he threatened to touch me is enough to, when somebody's saying you won't see your child ever again, and the guy punches a wall or something instead of punching the woman, and then says he's a danger to my daughter or he's a danger to my son. I mean, how can somebody, I know that the men are on the edge of their seats right now that are going through this, how can they best prepare, other than having an excellent attorney like yourself, but how can they best prepare when they go to court? What are other things they can do on their own?
Just basically have their cards in order and have what they want to do as a parent, as a father in place. A parenting plan is a great way to do that. Being able to tell the judge, okay, this is what I plan to do. If you grant me custody, this is what I plan to do, Your Honor, instead of just going in there and not having a plan. And you're right about the TRO. Sometimes you get an affidavit attached that may or may not be true, but the judge has to look at that ex parte TRO, sign off on that order. Until that man is brought into court, or woman, it could be a woman, that TRO is taken to be as a true and correct affidavit, and right away it's looked at and it's, wow, okay, I need to remove the child or place the child with one or the other, and that decision has to be made on that ex parte order. It's and we as men have to go in there having everything in order and knowing what we really want, and knowing what our wages are, how much we make, and what our child support's going to be calculated on. If we live in the same city, how are we going to get access to the child? If there's these high conflict divorces, how are you going to diminish that high conflict, and what are you going to decide to do to diminish that high conflict? And you get personalities. I mean, when we're talking about family law, we have personalities that you can't always control. The court systems can't control different personalities.
Well, and you bring up a good point, because when they go in there, and I mean both parents, I think people have this perception of the court as a mini drama, whatever they see on television, and they forget that the judges have such minute amounts of time to hear things. And honestly, most judges that I've talked to, family law and child custody disputes are not at the top of their list of what they want to hear about.
No, there's so many of them. The court systems are flooded with family law cases. A lot of them, especially here in Oasis, I like their mentality is go work it out between yourselves. And if you can't do that, then come back over.
Jose Longoria, number one. Right. Yeah, my buddy, Jose Longoria of the 214th District Court says, look, you guys are being reduced to being children right now. Go in that room and go work it out, because you're not going to like what I decide.
Right.
And tough judging like that sometimes is a solution. Oftentimes there are other issues that may come up, and it's a lot of finger pointing. How you as a father and as a lawyer, you've given us kind of a checklist, the parenting checklist. What might other things that say a man is facing a restraining order, he's been accused of being violent or potentially violent, and he's like, I have no criminal record, I've never done anything to anybody, I haven't been in a fight since second grade, and here I am being called an animal, abusive. What is the judge going to think about me? How do they, like you said, they're starting on their back trying to get up in a fight.
Right. They need to hire a lawyer. Basically, they need to hire an
They can't go in without
They cannot go in without. I mean, the judge is looking at that affidavit and seeing it as being a true statement.
That the guy's an animal.
Yeah, he did this, he did that, and it may not be true. I mean, a lot of these high conflict cases, they're based on false allegations, and you've got you've got finger pointing on both sides, but the man has to go in and have character references, go in with a couple of witnesses if they're doing a TRO hearing, maybe have some references from work, his criminal history background that's complete and clear. There's different things that an attorney can do, and then do your own affidavit. Do counter to that affidavit. Say, hey, all everything that she's claiming or he's claiming to do is incorrect, and this is what really happened. It's then the judge has two affidavits.
There you go.
He's got to look at and say, okay, which one do I believe? Well, he push those two aside. Let me listen to both and see what credibility each one has and what story they have. Who's the more credible person, and who's actually telling the truth? Because sometimes when you go, you go file this TRO, you've hired an attorney, you've told this attorney, the attorney's typing it out, or the secretary or paralegal, and they only know what you're telling them. They haven't listened or talked to the other side yet. And sometimes when you want to hit the affidavit, you counter with another affidavit.
There you go.
Counter with an affidavit that says exactly the opposite of what this affidavit is saying, so that the judge looks and says, okay, well, obviously there's a high conflict here. They need to go do some counseling or some parenting. They have there's parenting classes that they need to take, and then let the custody hearing be passed for another day. Go do the parenting classes. Try to resolve this high conflict issue.
I know that we've got a minute left, but I know there are some fathers out there that are hurting and that love their children very much and maybe aren't sleeping in their own bed, in their own house, and haven't seen their children in weeks or months or maybe years. What's the number to call if they have any questions or would need some further legal advice? Do you still handle family law?
I do. It's
regularly?
It's 854-7121. My website is southtexasfamilylawyer.com.
And that's southtexasfamilylawyer.com. Facebook as well?
Facebook as well.
And the number again was, it's very important.
854-7121.
7121, 854-7121. 30 seconds left. Any message you want to leave the viewers, men and women?
Hire an attorney if you go into family court. That's the most important thing. Don't go in by yourself. I even say attorney general cases, do not go in by yourself. It's cheaper to attend an attorney general hearing, but you need to protect yourself as a parent.
Alex Hernandez, father, an attorney, and you have his number up on the screen and his website that we'll be pasting up there. And also visit him and friend him and like him on Facebook. I hope you come back again and we talk about some more important family law issues and the other areas of the law that you cover. I'd like to interview you on because it's always very informative. And thank you for coming by.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you. Alex
Appreciate
Hernandez, and we are out of time, and the number is on your screen. But thank you all for viewing. Once again, it's been a power-packed hour. This is Joe Flores saying thank you and God bless.